Hello and thanks for joining us. Welcome to lesson number 5 in our Community Leadership Training Series. Today's lesson is entitled, How to Communicate with Your Constituents, Building a Large Base of Community Support. Let's face it, connecting with your community members is the real essence of being a community leader. Constituents are the people that elect you. They appoint you to leadership roles, and if you gain their respect, they're the ones who follow and support your ideas. So how is it that some leaders of the community, whether school board members or city councilors or whatever it might be, are so well respected and others are not? More importantly, how can you become one of the respected ones? I'm going to elaborate on a few simple ideas in this segment that will really help you to start to understand this. The leaders that get this stuff are the ones that are really going to gain their community's support. Alright, first I have a little story to tell you. I have a friend who works for the University of Vermont. He met Vermont's governor, Jim Douglas, at a social event a few years back and introduced himself. I'm sure Governor Douglas met a lot of people that night because the event was filled with people that wanted to give him their 2 cents. So fast forward a few years. My friend ran into Governor Douglas again at a different social engagement. Before my friend could even reintroduce himself, the governor remembered my friend's name and even some of the details about his life. Now, whether or not you support Governor Douglas, the point of this story is that there's a special power in remembering people's names. So why is this important for you? What can you gain from this story? The point is that when you remember somebody's name, they feel recognized. When people feel recognized, they feel important. And when you can make them feel important, they will like you, they will vote for you, and they will support you. Now, if you can take one thing from this video, it should be this. The best way to make people feel important is to remember their name. If you can remember the name of somebody you have just met and use it, especially the next time you see them, they're going to instantly respect you. And here's the kicker. They're going to like you from the outset, even if they don't necessarily agree with your policies and positions. Are you with me here? Okay, so by now you might be saying, you know, I'm horrible at remembering people's names and this is just not going to work for me. Well, I'm happy to be the one to tell you this. You are wrong. There are a few simple techniques that I'll teach you now that if you practice them, I guarantee you will remember everyone's name, even if you are horrible with names. Alright, all of these techniques fall under the umbrella of concentration. If you are distracted by what time you need to pick up your kids, or if it's going to rain later, you're right. You are not going to remember anybody's name. So the first thing you need to do is look people directly in the eye, firmly shake their hand, concentrate, and then say their name back to them when introduced. Okay, so here's the trick and the key to this whole exercise. When you meet somebody for the first time, I try to remember one other person by the same name. You have to try this, it's pretty incredible. What you do is, right after you meet a new person and say their name back to them, think of somebody else you know, and preferably you know this other person pretty well, and literally visualize that other person in your mind side by side with this new person. In psychology, this technique is called imprinting. You are literally burning an image into your memory of this new person side by side with the other familiar face from your past. When you meet the new person again, your memory will associate their face with the other familiar face, and bingo, you remember their name. Now I'll tell you, this technique works wonders, but it still requires concentration. So this week, let's try a new exercise. For every person that you meet, I want you to concentrate, block all of that chatter out of your mind for a second. Look them in the eye, say their name back to them, and visualize in your mind somebody else with the same name. The good news is, if you practice this technique, you will be one of those people that remembers everybody's name. And this is even if you think you are horrible with names right now, which is incidentally a mostly self-fulfilling prophecy anyway. The great thing about this week's exercise is that you will see almost instant results. You'll get instant gratification. Because the next time you see somebody and you're able to remember their name, their face is going to light up. And this tends to make both people feel good. Even more importantly, you're instantly going to have their respect, which as a community leader is the ultimate currency in the way that people elect you and appoint you to leadership positions. Okay, great. Well, thanks for tuning in this week. Hopefully you learned something that will really help you in your position as a community leader. Communicating effectively with constituents is really at the heart of all community leadership. If you want to be elected, if you want to be appointed to leadership roles, or even rise up the ranks to a higher office, you really need to implement this stuff. Also, at the end of this video, there will be a link to a really incredible learning opportunity here in Vermont. So click on that link and check it out. Again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.